I got a text that just said, "Look outside." The moment I did, my entire life shattered. Not because of what I saw, but because of what I realized. My stomach dropped, an icy dread spreading through me. There on the patio of our favorite downtown restaurant was Mark, my boyfriend of 2 years. He was laughing, his hand caressing the arm of a woman I recognized instantly, Sarah, his ex from college. He was supposed to be 600 miles away on a business trip. My hand shook as I fumbled for my phone, snapping a blurry photo. It was proof, undeniable, but I didn't know the worst part yet. Not even close. I drove home in a daze, the city lights a blur. Every streetlight felt like a punch to the gut. Our apartment felt cold, alien, the air thick with invisible lies. I wanted to scream, to smash something. But a primal instinct took over. I had to protect myself. I had to know everything, because something felt very, very wrong. Mark returned 2 days later, all smiles and a cheap keychain from his trip. He kissed me and I felt a shiver of revulsion. I hugged him back, forcing a smile that felt like it would crack my face. The facade was suffocating. Every breath he took felt like a lie. He talked about his meetings, about how much he missed me. I just nodded, my mind racing. I started watching him. His phone was always clutched tight, even in the shower. He'd leave the room to take calls, whispering. My gut screamed betrayal, but I needed more than just a feeling. I needed undeniable proof. And I didn't know it yet, but the truth was going to be far worse than simple cheating. One night he fell asleep early. I crept out of bed, my heart hammering against my ribs. I picked up his phone, my fingers trembling. It was locked, of course, but I knew his old passwords, just a shot in the dark. It worked. My breath hitched, the messages were endless. To Sarah, explicitly planning their future, talking about moving in together. My stomach churned, but then I saw another name, Laura, and a separate string of texts, equally intimate, detailing another business trip he'd just taken with her. My head spun, 2 of them, my world was rubble. I was breathing in the dust of his lies, and that was just the beginning. I couldn't breathe. I stumbled into the bathroom, splashing cold water on my face. 2 women. He wasn't just a cheater, he was a serial deceiver. My mind reeled, the sickening truth clawed at me. I was being played, strung along, a fool in his elaborate charade. I started looking at everything with new eyes, our finances. His late nights at the office, the expensive gifts he never bought me. Then something else clicked, the apartment, our home. I started rummaging through old documents, the lease agreement. My blood ran cold, my name wasn't on it, only Mark's. He was the sole tenant. I was completely vulnerable. He could kick me out at any moment. The fear was physical, a tightening in my chest. I felt like I was drowning. That night I didn't sleep. I lay next to him, wide awake, the monster sleeping soundly beside me. Every breath he took was a betrayal. Every moment I spent in that apartment felt like a ticking time bomb. I was trapped, homeless if he decided to discard me. My tears came silently, soaking my pillow. My world was collapsing around me and there was no way out, or so I thought. But then through the despair, a cold, hard resolve began to form. This wasn't just about heartbreak anymore. This was about survival. He wanted to discard me, he wanted to make me homeless, not if I had anything to say about it. A chilling calm settled over me. Mark thought he was so clever, so untouchable. He was wrong. What happened next changed everything. The next morning, I made an appointment with Mr. Henderson, our landlord. My hands were shaking as I packed a small bag. Not with clothes, but with evidence. Photos of Mark and Sarah, screenshots of his texts with Laura, copies of his credit card statements showing lavish spending on both of them during his business trips. Mr. Henderson, a kind, older gentleman, listened patiently as I laid it all out. His expression slowly hardened from polite concern to genuine shock. I explained my precarious situation, not being on the lease, his plans to abandon me. He was going to leave me with nothing, Mr. Henderson, I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. He was going to make me homeless. Mr. Henderson sighed, his gaze regretful. Clara, Mark gave his 60-day notice 2 weeks ago. My heart stopped. He had already planned to leave me. He was going to simply disappear, leaving me with no home, no warning. The depth of his cruelty was breathtaking. My stomach didn't drop this time, it soared with a fierce, burning anger. He never told me, I said, my voice dangerously calm. He was planning to just leave me high and dry. Mr. Henderson nodded. I didn't know your situation, dear. I assumed you both had a plan. That's when I knew this wasn't just about revenge. This was about survival. And I was going to make him pay for every lie, every hidden text, every cruel deception. He thought he was moving on. I was going to make sure he moved nowhere. Mr. Henderson, seeing my anguish and the undeniable proof of Mark's deceit, agreed to help. He said he couldn't legally prevent Mark from leaving, as Mark had given proper notice. But he could ensure that the transition was seamless, and that new tenants would move in exactly 2 days after Mark was required to vacate. He offered to let me manage the showings, to find new tenants myself, ensuring Mark remained completely in the dark. This was it, my chance. I went into overdrive. I started packing my belongings subtly, labeling boxes for donations or storage. Mark was oblivious, even appreciative. Great job decluttering, babe, he'd say, scrolling through his phone. Every word was a fresh insult, fueling my resolve. I encouraged his nights out, telling him to enjoy his freedom. I even suggested he take another business trip, knowing it was another rendezvous with one of his women. I was weaving my own web, a silent trap he was walking straight into. I found new tenants quickly, a young couple eager to move into Raleigh. Mr. Henderson handled the paperwork, ensuring everything was perfectly legal, perfectly timed. Mark had no idea. He was too busy living his double or triple life. The next 60 days were a blur of cold fury and calculated actions. I played the role of the devoted girlfriend perfectly, my smile never wavering, even as I meticulously dismantled his future. Every phone call he took in the other room, every late night out, every new lie cemented my resolve. He was going to lose everything. 2 months flew by. Moving day arrived, ironically, on another one of Mark's planned brunch dates with Sarah. I woke up early, calm, collected. The moving truck arrived promptly at 8 a.m. The movers, a crew I'd personally hired and briefed, began systematically boxing up his meager belongings. Clothes, toiletries, his gaming setup. Everything else, the furniture, the kitchenware, the decor, was either mine or had receipts proving joint ownership, which meant it stayed. I was in the kitchen, calmly making myself a cup of coffee when I heard his key in the lock. Mark walked in, a wide smile on his face, probably still buzzing from his brunch. Smile vanished as he took in the sight. The empty living room, the boxes labeled with his name, the movers carrying out his television. His eyes darted to me, a flicker of confusion, then raw anger. "What's going on, Clara? What the hell is this?" I took a slow sip of my coffee. "Looks like your moving day came early, Mark," he stammered, his face paling. My moving day? What are you talking about? Are you leaving? We talked about couples therapy." He tried to grab my arm, but I stepped back. "I'm not leaving, Mark, you are." Just then, Mr. Henderson walked in, looking stern. He held a clipboard and a formal document. He handed it to Mark. "Mr. Davies, as per the 60-day notice you submitted, you are required to vacate the premises by midnight tonight. New tenants are moving in 2 days and the apartment needs to be cleaned and prepped." Mark stared at the paper, then at me, then back at Mr. Henderson. "My notice? What notice?" "I never submitted a notice." I stepped forward, holding my phone. "Oh, you did, Mark. You submitted it 2 months ago. You just forgot to mention it to me, your live-in girlfriend of 2 years. You were so busy planning your great escape with Sarah. Or was it Laura you were planning to move in with?" I held up my phone, showing him the photos, the texts, the hidden travel plans. His face went white. He opened and closed his mouth, no sound coming out. He tried to bluster. "This is my apartment." "You have no right, Mr. Henderson interjected. "No, Mark, it was your apartment. You gave notice. Ms. Jenkins here worked with me to ensure a smooth transition. The new tenants are ready. Your belongings are being packed. What you see there," he gestured to the sad pile of boxes and garbage bags in the living room, "is all that's legally yours to take." Mark looked utterly defeated, publicly shamed in front of the movers, the landlord, and soon the whole world. He looked at the meager pile of his life, reduced to boxes and bags. All the furniture, the kitchenware, the memories, they were mine now. He sank onto an empty box, clutching his head. He looked broken. But my stomach didn't drop this time. It soared, a triumphant, chilling wave washed over me. He tried to take everything from me. Instead, he lost it all. Just then, his phone vibrated in his pocket. He glanced at it. It was Sarah. He tried to dismiss the call. I smiled sweetly. "You know, Mark, I thought you might need some moral support right about now. So I took the liberty of calling a few people. Friends, family, and yes, Sarah and Laura." As if on cue, a sleek black car pulled up to the curb outside. The car door opened. Sarah stepped out. And then another woman, Laura, followed her. They both looked up at the apartment building, their eyes widening as they saw the moving truck, the open apartment door, and Mark's pathetic pile of belongings being carried out. They saw Mark defeated, sitting on a box. Sarah looked at Mark, then at me, her face a mixture of shock and disgust. Laura looked utterly devastated, her hand flying to her mouth. I raised an eyebrow at Mark. "Looks like your future plans just got a little complicated. Hope you didn't pay for those moving boxes yet, because I don't think you're going to Sarah's or Laura's." Mark stared, utterly broken. His carefully constructed web of lies had unraveled in a public, humiliating spectacle. He tried to take everything from me, my home, my trust, my future, but in the end he lost it all. His home, his women, his dignity, and me. I finally felt like I could breathe again, free.